So today I'm making the French answer to American fried chicken. Well, according to Julia Child, from what I understand.
Ah! Bon appétit.
Hello everyone, welcome to the kitchen. It's my kitchen, it's yours, get comfy, but maybe not for too long today, as the recipe I don't think is gonna take the whole day. I don't know what I'd do with all that spare time, but I don't wanna jinx it. We're in From Julia Child's Kitchen, the cookbook. And I am making this chicken, the crisp brown sauté. This simple and straightforward chicken sauté with its combination of browning and baking is the French answer to American fried chicken. That's what I said. Well, she said it first. It's crisp and beautifully brown on the outside while the flesh is moist and tender inside. So I'm also gonna make these garlicky sautéed potatoes in a pressure cooked quickie because I think it would go well with the chicken. Well, that's what she says. Serve these with steaks, chops, hamburgers, broiled, or sautéed chicken. So that kind of speaks for itself. Who doesn't love a quickie? Let's get to work. Okay. Here we go with our chicken. And Julia was recommending a 2.5 pounder, but I went slightly bigger. I think it's around a 3.5-er, but more is more in this case today. So I'm gonna cut my chicken up as if I am cutting my chicken up as if I was just making fried chicken. So into pieces. 8 pieces? Yeah, let's go with 8. Spine can go first into quarters here, the 2 breasts and the 2 legs. So with the chicken leg here, let me just separate the drumstick from the thigh. So find where the ball joint is and twist it the other way, and then your knife goes right through. First with the breast, find that ball joint and right through, and there goes the wing. And then cut that in half. All right, so in total, we got 10 pieces. I did say 8, didn't I? But I forgot about the wings. Bowl me, thank you. And I'm going to add a little over a cup of milk. Don't know why I'm pouring it like that. So what I gotta do is very similar to fried chicken, where you're marinating the chicken in buttermilk. I believe what we're doing here is we're just gonna dunk it in the milk, but it should help make it more tender, I think. Dip each piece into the milk, shake off the excess, and then I'm just gonna put them back onto my baking tray. Okay, so chicken pieces have been soaked. Yummy chicken milk. So I'm gonna sprinkle these lightly with salt and pepper. So I have around, I'd say between 1/4 cup and 1/2 cup of flour here. She says to shake the flour over the chicken. I'm thinking, because this tray is a bit damp from the milk, that once what am I doing? So turn the chicken about to coat it completely with the flour. And I'm gonna keep my dry hand, which is this one, and then this one can coat the chicken. I don't know about making the chicken more tender, but the milk definitely helps with getting the flour stuck on. Maybe it's a bit of both, tender and flour sticking. Pat the flour in. You know, it's a great time to thank today's sponsor, Made In. Now they're designing professional quality products for the home cook, and they partner with multi-generational factories and artisans to help bring you a curated collection of materials and shapes you need in the kitchen. Now they actually introduced me to carbon steel pans. What is this one? I was a bit confused when I first learned about it too, because it's like, well, why are there so many different types of pans? But now I understand that it's essentially like a hybrid between a cast iron pan and a stainless steel pan is a carbon steel pan. And I was like, oh, right. So as you use and season your carbon steel pan, it will develop a natural non-stick surface, and that is well earned. So I'm gonna use this later in the video because it heats quickly and it's easy to maneuver on the stovetop, and it gives primo heat control. Check out Made In's carbon steel collection as well as their other cookware, and use the link in my description to save on your order. Thank you, Made In. Moderately high heat, whatever pan is gonna fit the bill. I'm using my cast iron. And we're gonna do all this in batches. So is that 2 tablespoons of butter? Give or take. And a tablespoon of olive oil. Enough butter and oil to film the bottom of the pan by 1/8 of an inch. Once the butter foams up, add the chicken pieces skin side down. But don't under any circumstances crowd the pan, you punk. So I'm aiming for around a couple minutes per side, and if I need to add any more oil, I can do so. So browning the chicken with our saute, this is kind of the equivalence of the American fried chicken and deep frying it. Kind of. Just because every time I do something like this, I get struck. I have a splatter screen that I'm just gonna put like that. Every few minutes we'll check. I just don't wanna get hit. Cool. Put them, Chuck says hello. I'm gonna put them down here, put them on this rack here. Remove the plastic bag from the smoke detector. A little bit of a hack. And the chicken has browned up really nicely. Actually, I was surprised how just kind of foolproof this was. This is all incredibly crispy and crunchy, and it kind of feels like I deep fried this. Just looking at it, appearance-wise and texture-wise, it has this like aura of being deep fried, but it most definitely wasn't. The only thing was that when the pan was drying out after each time I was browning some of the chicken, I had to add a little more oil. What I'm gonna do is, well, I got a couple more things on my to-do list, so let's put them off to the side. Now we're gonna move on to our garlicky sautéed potatoes and a pressure cooked quickie. You need water in that first. So we need some sort of baking potato. I will be using the Yukon Gold, which funnily enough is not from the Yukon. It is from Guelph, Ontario, Canada, my hometown. Shout out, Guelph Gold potatoes. I've said this joke before on the show, so if you've heard it before, I'm terribly sorry. So I'm going to give them a rinse, and then once that water's boiling in the steamer, whoops, in they go, 15 to 20 minutes. Next up is salt pork. So if you don't know what salt pork is, it's essentially like bacon, part of the pork belly. It's been cured. I think for my garlic potatoes today, I don't need to keep the skin from the pig on it. No, not today. Now I am making lardons, that's what they're called, like matchstick pieces here. She says this whole step is optional for the potatoes, but what the hell, let's exercise the option today. Made it a bajillion times on the show before. So into some simmering water, I'm gonna blanch them for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, you drain the lardon and you rinse under cold water. Hey, hello. Okay, look at that. Look how lovely that looks. Should be good. Sliced onion. So green pepper, just says slices. Just make these like manageable pieces here. I'm halving the recipe, I'll need 1 clove of garlic, but I am gonna go with that. Finely mince the garlic. Okay, 1 courtesy mince wouldn't hurt anyone. So after around, I'd say around 15 minutes with these potatoes, they need to be just tender. So bring the potatoes over here to, firstly to cool. Okay, now you gotta peel them. You can mostly just do it by hand. Slice these potatoes into 3/8 of an inch thick slices, okay? 3/8 of an inch thick. What the hell is a 3/8 of an inch thick? Hey Siri.
Uh-huh.
Hey, what's 3/8 of an inch in centimeters?
That would be 0.95 centimeters.
So roughly a centimeter. Why don't you just say that? Julia. Okay, well there you have it. That's 3/8 of an inch thick, apparently, according to AI, roughly a centimeter. I wish Julia would just use the damn metric system because it makes a hell of a lot more sense. These are big slices. So she recommends a non-stick pan for this next part. I'm gonna use my big one because of them potatoes, but that's down the road. For now, get the heat on, and I need around a tablespoon or so of olive oil. Okay, my blanched lardon, and I believe that I blanched it so that I could render some of the fat and probably some of that cured flavor. I don't know. Okay, until those have lightly browned. Okay, I'm gonna add in the onion. So I'm gonna turn the heat down to like a medium-low, closer to low. And I'm gonna get the lid on, and I need to cook those slowly until the onions are tender. Those look tender. Next go the, what is this, green pepper and the garlic. And then we need a sprinkling of salt and pepper. So I gotta saute until the green peppers are almost tender. It should take a couple more minutes on a medium-low. And then lastly, in go the potatoes. I got a lot of them. You just toss them in. Shake the pan by the handle to make the potatoes jump and turn. Jump and turn, jump and turn. I think I need a little more oil in here and to stop doing that also. Just like a sprinkling of dried thyme, and I'm going to do also a sprinkling of rosemary. Jump and turn, jump and, what's the smell? Oh, an onion is burning because of the jump and turn. And then I cover, cook on a moderately low heat for 10 to 15 minutes, tossing and turning several times until the browned potatoes are browned lightly and finish their cooking. Get all that? Okay, so this is what's gonna go on. I got a roasting pan here. Get only the dark meat of the chicken into the thing. Got a combination here of 2 tablespoons of melted butter and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. So let's get some basting going. I'm also gonna heat up the base of this pan and make sure that the chicken is sizzling before it goes into the oven. That's chicken sizzling. So if you're asking why the white meat is off to my right still, it's because it takes less time to cook. We're gonna add it in a bit. Into the oven, it's at 375 degrees F for, we'll figure it out. All right, so after the first 5 minutes, let's baste again with more butter, whatever's on the pan, just kind of drizzle a little more on top. All right, that goes in for another 5. After another 5 minutes, you turn the chicken. So now the white meat goes in, and then baste some more. Yeah, and then just every 5 minutes, you just keep basting and turning. You get the idea, I don't need to. So I would say around half an hour later, so I'm gonna pierce the chicken with a fork to make sure that the juice runs clear, no rosiness to it. Since well undone chicken is inedible, overdone chicken with dried out juiceless flesh is a shame. I think we're good. Chicken goes on to a serving platter. Can hang out in the oven turned off with the door ajar, which is gonna be right beside my legs, which is great for the heat. Being sarcastic, of course. Pour out any excess fat into this miniature little thing here. You could have picked something bigger, but you didn't. Onto the burner. You know what time it is. Brown deglazing sauce time. In goes around a tablespoon of minced shallot and wooden spoon. Stirring up the coagulated cooking juice, continuing to stir the shallot. 1 cup of chicken stock. And around a 1/4 cup of dry white vermouth, scraping up everything and boiling it down until it's almost syrupy. Some pepper, salt, continue to deglaze, deglaze, deglaze. Drop the butter on the floor. check for hairs. And now turn off the heat of my brown sauce here. And then I'm gonna add in around 1.5 tablespoons of butter. It's just good old-fashioned enrichment butter, you know? So this time around, I'm gonna strain this sauce. I don't usually do this, but I thought, do it. There's a lot of shallot and other stuff in there. There you have it. All right, get the potatoes into some sort of platter. Here it is. My chicken. And then she says to decorate, am I all up to snuff here? Decorate chicken platter with sprigs of parsley, not chopped parsley. Well, you got some chopped there. It's supposed to be sprigs of parsley. A little chopped parsley too. Order up! Interesting. Oh, that's where the sauce is hiding. Maybe don't pour the sauce all over everything, because then everything kind of absorbs it, and you want it for dunking, the sauce. Lesson learned. The French answer to American fried chicken, it's crisp and beautifully browned on the outside while the flesh is moist and tender on the inside. Brown on the outside. Maybe a couple minutes less in the oven for that flesh. When I initially browned the chicken, it had a nice crust to it. It was crispy, crunchy, and it reminded me of something that had been deep fried. So it had that vibe to it. But after baking it and basting it in all that butter for the next 25 to 30 minutes, it lost that. And although it had a lot of flavor, it was delicious. It was missing that crispy crunchiness on the outer coat. If the dish did not have the brown deglazing sauce, that thing was incredible. It was meant for 4 people. I ate all of it, so that's great. The flavor of that with the shallots and the wine, and it was like a clutch hitter in here, because this dish needed a little bit of a pick-me-up, and that thing came out swinging. Of course, if you pour it all over the chicken, it's gonna become a little soggy. Here, that chicken's good. It's good chicken. It's just not fried chicken, you know? But she just said it was the answer, French answer to American fried chicken. Anyway, did I talk about these potatoes yet? Yeah, they were good. They're nice to have on the side of the plate. They are what they are, like tender potatoes. Not much to look at now, but they were delicious. And then you pour a little sauce on top. Very nice. They are what they are. Okay, well, that's it. That's all. This was Jamie and Julia. Bon appetit. Au revoir.